Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. Today, as a thank you for having my parents babysit my kids, I will be sound deadening their Subaru Forester. Let's get started. For those of you following my channel, I have a mini series, we'll call it, on sound deadening the car. What I've learned over several hours can be applied to fewer hours. And I will be doing that today with my mom's Subaru Forester. It is not a base model. I do not know what model it is. It could be the premium. I don't know, but it has to be higher than my base model, right? So there are improvements that can be made. What I'm going to do is, now that the engine cool icon has gone out, I'm going to do a sound measurement for what the idle volume is. I'm going to take it for a drive and then replicate that drive after I've done maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of sound deadening. We're going to go after the doors, a little bit in the engine bay, the at least front wheels, if not rear wheel well, with the spray-in liner. We're going to sound deaden and insulate the doors, including the hatch, and that should make a substantial difference. So let's go ahead and get started with all that. So far, country roads, we're looking at like 74 average decibels for the sound readings. Seems to have a little bit more get up and go than my car, but then again, mine is a manual versus hers, which I believe is a CVT. I would say it's quite a bit chattier. Seems to be more the drivetrain, honestly, the engine noise versus the road imperfections coming through the cabin. But we're gonna go for a little bit more of a loop. Yeah, you can definitely hear when that engine kicks in. So right now we're at idle. Quite loud for the engine until it gets down to just over 1,000 RPMs. Some road noise, not really going to get a lot of wind noise, being we're not on the highway or anything like that. I would imagine it sounds very much like my car pre-sound deadening, as one would imagine. At idle, we're at about 56 decibels. I do intend to spray a little bit of the engine wall, firewall by the engine. Mine did not have any material, which is very weird. I feel like every car I've owned has had something there. 40 miles an hour right now. I do see she has like a plastic bucket and some cleaning supplies in the trunk, so we do have the rattling of that. It handles pretty well, as it should. Safely home. Yes, I did get lost, as it turns out. She does have some sound deadening topside, which is good, as opposed to my car that did not. So you'll see where I added the 10mm foam. Does seem to be holding up. It's maybe a month later now at this point. So is not melting. The engine gets hot. The engine bay should be less so, and that appears to be the case. But I did have that material there, and then starting under this ridge, you can see a little bit of the black spray. While I was underneath, I went ahead and deadened while I was doing my transmission and all. So I won't have to worry about our top side, which is nice. Depending on if it's going to rain or not, I will go ahead and consider climbing underneath if I have some of the spray liner remaining. More concerned about her wheel well. So what I'm going to do is, she does want her interior vents painted. same as mine were. So you'll recall, and I guess this is as good a time as any to show you. Oh, lordy. Silver, to me, is very cheap, chintzy. I understand everything else is black, so you need something a little more prominent to pop and draw attention to the fact that you have a vent there. This is plenty. I know there's a vent there, and I know I need to touch here, not there, to move it. So I don't know. I don't care for it. When you look at your rear view, this is what I was talking about in my video where I was talking about painting them and the safety reasons behind it. Right now, it's very overcast, so it's less of an issue. But if any sun reflects off this, it's going to reflect. This is about the position of the driver. So that is covering half of your mirror. Shitty design. So I'm going to be pulling these, painting them black. To me, it's going to look nicer. And there's also going to be less of a reflection. Let's see. So if we look right here, you can see right there is a little bit of that mirror reflection. So it's less of an issue. A little bit for the passenger, right? Passenger may get a little annoyed, but you can see right here as I move that the reflection is there. And again, that's going to be more prevalent the sunnier it is. And you're already trying to check your blind spot. Why would you handicap yourself? Bit of a, oh, hey, they have a black kitty too. Hi, black kitty. I will be scritching your brains out here very shortly. But I will be pulling these, painting these, tearing into the doors, rebuilding everything. We're on a bit of a time limit here, so let me go ahead and get started with the basics. You bring me that booty, kitty. Oh, yes. Hi, stranger. You're very trusting. Oh my gosh. Thanks for letting my kids play with you. My boy says there's a black kitty at Jimajibash, and we have a black kitty at home. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, you are very trusting, bud. You have so much trust. You should not be quite so trusting. Oh my goodness. So as I go after those vents, I need the paint to dry, and feels like we're losing some temperature here. So this Noico matting, the trick that I've learned since we did just drive this car maybe 20 minutes ago, the top of the engine is still hot. I'm putting the paper side down, and it's going to start making it more malleable, easier to cut, easier to shape. So I'm going to have this working for me as I'm going after those vents. As the paint on the vents dry, these should be ready, and I can start popping doors and doing what I need to do. Again, we have our before. A little bit of prying. Got those all free. Let's go ahead and hit it with some. All right, those are done. Let's move to the doors. Again, we're going after the doors. 1, pop this off. 2, 3, rock out from the bottom. Panel comes off with a number of connections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 need to be undone. I'm gonna go ahead and sound deaden the metal. So we'll peel this away, get to the metal on the other side. They do have a piece there, which is the same I had on mine, and the rest is not done. So my time was not wasted. Let's go ahead and do a before. One sheet of the Noico cut in half and cut into triangles will give you some pretty nice fitments for, like, this guy is going to be a triangle that closes. So we're going to use triangle that closes there, another one down there. This middle portion's already done with the factory stuff. So we're just going to use 2 of these on the front, 2 on the other side. We'll cut another sheet to do the rear as well. So again, we had two triangles. We have one right here and one right in there. As I do this, already a noticeable change, just like with my car. For notes, between pulling and painting those and doing the silver here, I'm probably 25 minutes in. So this can get done much faster if I weren't recording and if we didn't have people show up or I had to be introduced to them. But regardless, we're about 20 minutes in, so I could probably knock out all the doors in an hour's time. Pretty good return on investment. I think what I'm going to do, even though I sang the praises before, I'd have to pop a hole in that. I think I'm just going to roll the foam directly onto the door. And it's faster for me, and she probably won't notice any kind of a difference, honestly. But that's going to show up like this. So this is stuff I got off the Temu. I think it's $15 for a roll. It is 2 foot by 4. What is 80 inches? I think it was 20 by 80. So if we divide that by 12, that's what, 6, 7 feet? It does help to roll this out first so that it can get rid of its memory crease. But I believe I can just cut this in half and I'm able to double it over, whatever. So we're going to figure that out. But this stuff is what we'll put on the door. I have prevented the door from making noise. I have insulated the noise. Now I'm isolating the noise by putting this on. So should be pretty quick. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, so I lied a second time. We're going back to the first way. Just one strip covers the majority of the door. By cutting out this panel, I can put it right here, and that covers the majority of the door. I have a cut here, here, there, and a slice, which will correlate to the screw, the door release mechanisms, and the 2 switch openings. So I'm probably gonna have to cut for this ridge and then lower this portion down, but we will see. So again, with the door having that drop off for your armrest, I just sliced along that, sliced an opening here. That material went there. Access, access, access. Let's pop it back on. First door is done. Sounds much better inside and out. Let's go ahead and put the vents back in. Applying a second layer of paint, and we found a snake. A snake? He's fast, little bugger. Why are you so fast? Where you got to be? Ooh, snake don't like me. Snake, what you do? In about 10 minutes, I was able to tear apart the driver's door. So call it 10-15 minutes each, an hour to do all the doors. Super simple. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the rear doors. Rear door, we have 1, 2 screws up where the door releases and a little flip up hatch in the armrest. It's going to be right there. So you flip both of those up, pull the screw. One sheet cut into half, cut into halves. Let's do it. I removed the white cotton that was there. Just put a roll in there, a roll across it, cut it to shape. The slops I went ahead and put in other places. So we have probably 90% coverage. Let's pop it back on. If I take the hatch off, I took half a sheet, cut it into thirds. We're gonna put it on the tailgate. Let's do it. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 strips of the Noico on the on the exterior, put the, I'm going to leave this fabric here. They actually did a relatively decent job of at least surface coverage. So we're leaving that there. We applied this directly onto here. It's it will stick in place, but it will not stay if you peel it. So if they need access to any of their connectors or whatnot, they'll have it. So the hatch is done. All right, up and out. With the rear bench out, the last half of the sheet is cut into fifths. We're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to use the Celeste matting over top. Some deadening and some insulation. Let's go ahead and put the bench back. At this point, all the doors are done. The rear bench is done. All we have left is the spray-on vibration dampening and sound controlled spray. So let's yank the tire. All right, I lied. If we look, it is already sprayed, already sound deadened. I guess that's what the premium and premium trim stands for. So that saves me the trouble of having to unzip all the things to do the thing. So waste not, what not. We're gonna use this jack up the front. We're gonna look under the transmission after I retighten these. That's gonna be my indicator. We're going to look at the lower firewall and the transmission tunnel and put some spray in there. My dad taught me, write your torquage, 89 foot-pounds, for your lug nut. So we torqued them down. Remember the rule of thumb, if you have 5 bolts, you're tightening them 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second, 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 second. It is better to torque them on twice than to lose them once. So with that in mind, let's put that there and make this there. Coming to you from underneath the car as we look, there is a very defined line dead center of the screen moving top of the screen. That is the firewall in between the engine bay and the cabin that already has some insulation. So I'm going to attempt dead center of the screen. You can see silver there. It looks like dead center of the screen. You can see silver there. That is the transmission tunnel. You can see where the muffler goes. Above it is the axle, not transaxle, that runs to the rear wheels. I'm going to attempt to spray some up in there, but that's about all I can do at this point. So let's give it a try. All right, so hopefully the crap on my hands will prove to you that I did spray just the littlest amount. I only did maybe about here. That's where the transmission terminates and becomes the axle. And I sprayed a little bit on the back of the heat shield and a little bit on the tunnel. Even in my car, I did not do the whole thing. This one seems a little closer to the ground. Usually I don't need to put this thing on jacks in order to get under there with the 8.6 inches of ground clearance that Subarus come with. That said, either the car is lower or I am wider, and I choose to blame the car. So that's about what I can do. Let me go ahead and seal it back up and we'll take it for a quieter ride. And the after. I feel the vents look more stylish without the cheap plastic. And again, you're going to be getting less glare off your windows as you're trying to check your blind spot. With about 3.5 hours worth of work, we noise deadened all 4 car doors and insulated them, deadened and insulated the trunk, sprayed a little bit in the transmission tunnel, deadened and insulated a small amount under the bench seat of the car. And I'm going to say it's quite a bit quieter. At this point, we've largely just been maintaining speed. I don't remember the exact route I took. I'm not super familiar with the area. Seem to recall we made a right here. Let's step on it a little bit. Yeah, that's quite a bit quieter. Just getting back from that drive. I would say it's made a noticeable difference for me. I'm sure it'll make a noticeable difference for her as well. Only took a bit of a mess, and about, like I said, maybe 4 hours of my time. Could be done over more than one session, but a very good thank you gift. A lot of people give items. This is a gift of item and time, and it's something that every time they turn the key, they're going to appreciate, they're going to experience, or more appropriately, they're not going to experience what they used to. So relatively simple. Appreciate you guys coming along for the ride on this one. Haha, pun intended, see, because we actually went on a ride. But very simple. Should be the same across most vehicles. The older the vehicle, the more it's going to gain from this experience, I suppose. The newer, higher-end ones should have some better deadening to it. But even adding a little bit to what's already there, it's going to make a noticeable difference. So, as always, this is outside the target demographic. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Any questions, comments, concerns you have, leave them in the comments section below. If this is something you would consider either doing for yourself or for someone in your life, let me know. To me, I think it's it's something they're going to use, right? They will use it literally every day as an American. We like our cars. So, as I said, appreciate you guys stopping by. Relatively simple. Wanted to show you guys, and I will catch you in the next video.